is this other trend line within the trend line. So again, going back to Inception, we've got this overall solid purple trend line, but also another steeper decline in price. So let's just quickly pop back to the candles. As you can see, typically it's these tweezer tops that we're finding at the line of the trend line. And at the moment, price is respecting. So what I would feel to say that Bitcoin is going to have a bigger break is I want to see price do something like this on the overall trend line. So I want to see two things could happen. Either we have a break above this trend line, we hit this trend line here, we see price pull back into the previous trend line that we've broken, respect it, and then again a similar sort of thing where price breaks up. You might have an instant retest of 8,000, or you could have something like that first. So price could come up to say, I don't know, previous levels here, so 1p here, this structure's sticking out, and then, you know, price could then go up. So that's what could happen, but that's what I would look at, and that would, to me, indicate that we are seeing price move up. Of course, what could happen is something like this, where price respects that and starts to push below. If that happened, you could see moves. I'm not saying it will happen, but just again to demonstrate a point, that price could come back up and then push lower. So, you know, two possibilities there on Bitcoin. XRP, so as we've seen, and what I had drawn in earlier are these trend lines here. So let's just go back to the nice solid one. So I'm seeing, let's go to the line graph first. You had this point here, you know, as the overall trend line, of course, these two major points up. And then what we did have as well was a smaller, more steeper trend line that started from probably this point here downwards, I would say about there. So again, it's going back to that channel that I had drawn in. So what has happened here on the XRP daily chart is that, firstly, off of this smaller trend line, the steeper one, price did break above and break out of this level. So when that happens, what I'm looking at from the trend line when we see a break is something along the lines of what structure can I see that is possibly going to show some resistance. So to me, we've got this whole sort of general area here, but price completely smashed through. So after this daily candle broke the overall larger daily trend line, prices continued up, and look where prices come into. Previous support now turned into resistance, a lot of wicks, a lot of movement, but again, similar sort of pattern here, similar pattern there. So what we could see is a drop down to say this level here, which is sort of jumping out. So on the daily time frame, I'm looking at this sort of level here, which gives us the sort of 44 cents, 44, 46 sort of level. If we get to the closes, we got that there. Price could come down and then go from there, but that's what I've got on my radar as possible outcomes before we start seeing further moves up. Again, nothing goes up in a straight line. It can come back down. Just because we've had this move, there is nothing to say that this level won't be respected and we could test lower. Who knows? Again, it's all about what's the probable outcome for price. Last but not least, let's look at Ethereum. So onto the line graph. Okay. Again, we'll just start with the overall larger daily trend line. So we've got this peak here. And really, on Ethereum, you can sort of see, well, there's sort of three or four that are sort of sticking out. I mean, really, this, again, it's quite steep action. See, the price has gone down quite significantly, really. What you'd have is you've got this sort of very sharp trend line going down there. price has broken above, ranged across, then we've dropped down again. So again, we've got this sort of from the peak here. Again, it's broken, it's moving sideways, moving sideways. The Ethereum chart is a bit more, there's a bit more sideways action that you can see compared to the other two. But again, you've got these flags, down, flag. Could it go down? Of course it could. I don't know what will happen on Ethereum, as I don't tend to really follow it as much from a chart perspective. But again, you can see what I was saying earlier, creating these lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower highs, lower low, lower highs. Then we've moved sideways, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And again, it's just, moving sideways. But that's just really, again, another quick crash course type video on just trend lines, things to look at. So overall, I would say look at the line chart to really pinpoint the peaks on each chart, and then you can obviously flip back to your candlestick chart and have a look and see what is going on. But we'll leave it there, and again, thank you for no one asking for this video. I'm glad I could make it for you.